Looking at the US markets closing in the red, Asian markets too have opened up in the red. Most of them are trading with cuts in today's trading session or with a negative bias. Except Hang Seng, that's just flip-flopping between the red and the green. Slight bit of a positive bias, at least for the Hang Seng. But apart from that, whether you look at the Taiwan index, whether you look at the Kospi, the Nikkei, all of them are trading with cuts. Even ASX 200, that's the Australian index, that's trading with cuts of around 0.03%. So negative bias is what we're seeing coming in for most of the Asian markets. Let's look at the Nifty implied open. Last three trading sessions, the Indian markets have closed in the red. Today seems like we're opening up with a bit of a negative bias. As of now, 21-point downtick is what we're watching out for. Do not forget, obviously, today is the expiry day as well. So that will be important to watch out for in terms of the move or the volatility that we see coming in. But as of now, Nifty implied open is indicating a bit of a negative start for the Indian markets. But how is all this going to be impacting our markets in terms of important stocks, the cues in the world of FNO? To set you up for trade, we have a team of research joining us for that. First up, we have Vivek, who's here to tell us what are the important cues that we're keeping an eye out on this morning. Good morning, Vivek.
Morning. As you rightly pointed out, a bit of a subdued start is what we're anticipating. Very muted handover coming in from the US markets. On the other hand, Brent prices actually rose close to 1.7%, closer to the $61.6 a barrel mark. Now, the key story yesterday was the kind of correction that we saw across most of the commodities. Gold, silver prices corrected quite sharply and significantly off their intraday highs as well. Now, coming to Indian markets, like you mentioned, continue to remain weak. Remember, today is the December FNO series expiry, quite a few inclusions as well as exclusions. Nifty then ended below the 26,000 level. Broader markets fell in line with the benchmarks, and the market breadth clearly was in favor of the declines. In terms of the individual sectors that we were tracking, metal stocks did not hold on to the gains on the back of the correction in the base metal prices as well as commodity prices. You did see some selling pressure emerge over there. Railway stocks saw significant profit booking after the rally they saw last week, and EMS stocks, Dixon especially, was in focus. These stocks continue to correct, and most of them are down significantly from their recent peaks. Key events and key market reactions. Remember, yesterday the IIP data, the industrial production data, was quite strong. In fact, it was the strongest data that you saw for November in the last 2 years. The expiry today, Asian markets, Gift Nifty, all indicating a subdued soft start for our markets today.
Okay, Vivek, thank you so much for that. But let's move on and go across to Upasna, who's here to tell us which are the important stocks that one should be keeping an eye out on. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Vinny. First up, let me start with Reliance Industries. Now, there was a Reuters report titled as India claims $30 billion from the company, and the company has stated that this is factually incorrect. Next up is Lupin on our radar. It has signed exclusive licensing, supply and distribution agreement for a GLP-1 drug. An agreement is with the China-based Gan and Lee Pharmaceuticals for bonflaglutide, which is mainly for type 2 diabetes. BEL also in focus as it has received initial orders worth 569 crores since the last disclosure on 12th of December. Next up is RVNL. The company has received orders worth 200 crores from East Coast Railway. Shriram Finance also in focus on the back of credit rating revision. Now, CARE has upgraded the credit rating for NCDs and debt worth 2,500 crore from CARE AA stable to CARE AAA plus stable. Now, Bandhan Bank also in focus as the company says that the sale of identified NPA and rights of portfolios to its ARC company. Vari Engineering is the next up on our radar. The arm sets up 2 solar inverter manufacturing facility with annual capacity of 1.5 gigawatt each, totaling and taking it to about 3.05 gigawatt in Gujarat. And also, the company's CEO has resigned with effect from May 15, 2026. Next up is Afcons Infra. The company offers to complete CIDCO water tunnel project ahead of schedule is what the company has indicated. Next up is Indian Overseas Bank. The company gets approval from RBI to set up IFSC banking unit in the Gift City, Gujarat. And lastly, coming to Timex Group, as informed yesterday as well, the Timex Group luxury watches BV has exercised its oversubscription option, hence this stock will also remain in focus today. So all in all, we are watching out for all these stocks in today's trading session.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Upasna. But what's going to be happening in the world of FNO, what we should be keeping an eye out on? Sudarshan is here for that. Good morning, Sudarshan. While we didn't manage to close above the 26,000 levels, today is expiry. What are these important cues that we should watch out for now?
Good morning, Vinny. So it's the last expiry of 2025, or say December 2025, and we are set to welcome 2026. And look at Nifty. It's trying to hold or protect the levels of 26,000. So it would be good for market, it would be good for us that we enter 2026 with Nifty at least crossing the level or protecting the level of 26,000. And that looks tough if you go by the options data, because there's a huge call writing between 26,000 to 26,200. Yesterday, we would have seen a bigger fall if it was not Bank Nifty. While Bank Nifty closed in the red, but we got a minor support from them, and relatively Nifty Bank outperformed all the frontline indices. Silver lining in this market is the put-call ratio. While it has been slipping further and currently it's at 0.68, but normally when it's in the range of 0.60 to 0.68 or 69, then we call it oversold zone. So if there is any positive news related to peace agreement between US and Ukraine and Russia, or any other positive news coming in from the domestic market, there will be short covering, and that short covering can be very sharp. Now coming to the options data. For Nifty on the call side, major call writing, as I told you, was seen for 26,000 as well as for 26,100, and for both these call options, we saw premium falling. While on the put side, the most active options were 25,900 and 25,850. 25,850 is going to be a major support for Nifty. Coming to Nifty Bank, on the call side, 59,000 and on the put side, 58,500 were the most active ones. Now, in the index futures, we saw FIs continue to sell. Yesterday, we saw selling of almost 1,710 crore. But as I told you, Nifty Bank provided the support, and that's the reason we saw minor buying in Nifty Bank futures, and that buying was just 65 crore. Now, if you talk about the positioning, long exposure has seen a minor increase to 14% because there's an addition of more than 9,000 contracts. But look at the short side. There was addition of more than 25,000 contracts, and now on the short side, exposure is around 86%. So support, Nifty, first support, I look around 25,900, that is the 50-day moving average. Resistance would be again Friday's intraday high of 26,140. Buying will return only when we cross that level, and next resistance comes around the record high of 26,325. For Nifty Bank, support would be 58,730, that is 50-day moving average, and resistance would be around 59,230, that is 20-day moving average. One stock remains in the band, as usual, is the Saman Capital. Two stocks I'll keep an eye on. First, Dixon Technology continue to see a fall. All the EMS stocks have been under pressure, but this stock has yesterday closed below 12,000 after several months. Another stock I'll keep an eye on, Hindustan Zinc, after sharp fall we have seen in both silver as well as zinc prices overnight.
Okay, Sudarshan, thank you so much for that. I'm going to be surely keeping an eye out on the 26,000 level. Want to start 2026 with 26,000? Who wouldn't mind that? But thanks so much for the points there for in the world of F&O, Sudarshan.